I'm a little nervous.
Don't go into business with your friends. She might have been one of the first people I ever heard talking about menopause so actively. And she said,
Prickly sweat.
I'm 100% sure I've got undiagnosed like ADD or something.
Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. Hey, I'm Tia.
I'm Reshma.
And we are Cntiosity. A new look for us. I don't know, we're trying lots of different things out. You may have noticed before last week's, the latest episode, there was a pause, shall we say. There was a pause.
A break.
A break.
we were on a break. You love that. The Friends fan in you loves that.
And the reason for that break was because we were just figuring some stuff out behind the scenes. And I would say that it's I love making this podcast. We are friends, but it does bring up challenges in, because we're working together. Making a podcast as friends is work,
right?
As we're discovering. And that was the sound of the dog, just like
Coley. You're gonna hear Coley in the background. Let's just acknowledge the little monster. He's in the background. Yeah, I think because we've been traditionally doing this sort of across an ocean from each other, and now here we are in like a space together. And there's all kinds of other logistics that you got to account for: camera placements and lighting and mics and mic stands and dog placement. Like there's all kinds of stuff that comes into play when you're trying to do it live, versus each being in our own space and having our like little set area that we're, you have no purview into my space, I have none into yours other than what I see on screen. But here we're able to like stage things. So yeah, it has been an interesting learning of like, okay, how, I think a lot of people, they always say like, don't go into business with your friends or like that, which I always go into business with my friends because I'm like, why would, I don't want to work with people that aren't my friends.
right.
And it, you start to like unravel layers of your friendship that work really well in friendship in a work environment. Your work stuff comes up. Like I've got my work stuff from being a corporate hack. You've got your work stuff from when, how you work, and we like those pieces might not fit as nicely as our friendship does. And so that's been an interesting journey of learning.
Yeah.
Exploration.
I'm gonna admit that I'm a little nervous for this episode. Because like we're just gonna tell like the truth about stuff. Not that we don't always tell the truth about stuff, but some awkward things have come up in the last week or two, I would say.
The truth about tensions, which is always a little like
awkward. Yeah. So, and we're both, I don't want to speak for you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think we're both sensitive people.
Yeah, I would say that about I think a lot of people would say that about me.
And we're both on our own independent neurospice journeys. So like navigating our personalities as friends is one thing, but as you've said, navigating that and when you're trying to like work on something, other things have come up, like, for example, I think I've communicated something to you, but it turns out that I haven't at all. Or I just don't communicate because, like, I'm like, but look, it's this. Then I hold something up in front of you and say, it's this. I can't actually describe the thing that I'm holding is my communication style.
But it's been cool, right? Like, there's like the little hiccup of like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? I don't know what's going on, right? To like you explaining to me what's going on. And then me discovering and learning how you work and why you work the way you work. And you kind of getting a little bit of a side of how I work and why I work the way I work. And I think it's like, it's kind of cool in that way. Cause like, it's a side of me you don't get to see. Like you don't get to see me at work, right? I mean, you've seen me at work in that you've been in my apartment when I'm working from home, or you've heard me on a work call or something, and you've even said to me in those moments, you're like, who was that? Like, how did this, that is so bizarre. Like,
who is she? Who is this person?
To hear and to like because there's like a whole other bit of information in my head for what I do for work, right? And like for you to hear that is like, what the hell is she? Who? That's not my friend. That's not my friend. My friend knows that. Why does my friend know that? And me understanding that, like you said to me this week that like one of your struggles when you were in like the corporate world was that you don't communicate. You're a shower, not a teller, right? And that, well, the minute you said that, I was like, okay, we're good. That made so much sense to me. And it made me think about you differently. And like, of course, yeah. Like when I then relate that back to our friendship, I'm like, yes, that makes sense. That's exactly who she is. Why would I expect her to be any different, right? In this environment. So now I'm like, if you do something, you don't tell me that you've done it, I'll understand that it was like waiting for me to see it or hear it for me to, like Tia does a lot of the editing, right? For the podcast. And that's a tremendous skill that I don't have as much talent with.
Technically.
So, yeah, like I just have the proficiency for it to do. And if I did it, it would take weeks to put out each episode. So I am thankful that my partner here is very skilled in this. So like I always assume, because in my mind having to do that to me is like, oh my god, it's so much work. And I'm always amazed at how fast you are at like getting stuff out. And so that's why I'm starting to understand the show versus tell side. Whereas I will tell you exactly what I'm doing at every step as I'm doing it, right? Because I've been trained that way. I've been trained in my world. I'm also a strategist. Like that's my job, is to connect all the steps.
Yeah. And
to bring in order to bring something forward and to bring something to life. So it is very much like how we work in our professional worlds. And I mean, you're an actor, so you show.
I show. I can't tell you why. Unless you give me the lines, and then I'll tell you why.
Right.
I could talk like a strategist if I was playing a strategist.
Right. You can play one.
I can play one.
I play one on TV.
I just couldn't be one. No, we bring, and I think it's really interesting, the different skills that we bring, and they're largely very complementary. And I always feel bad about the upload side of things that you're doing, because it's stuff that would just take a different brain. It would take me so long to like put that brain on and get into word mode that it stresses me out, and I delay and I delay and I delay.
Right.
But like for you, that's like a breeze.
Yeah. So like what you're talking about is when you go to upload your content to the different platforms, right? Like there's language that needs to be involved, there's blurbs that need to be written, there's chapterization of the actual video portion of the podcast. There's all these little bits and pieces that involve a lot of word handling and understanding like SEO, right? Like how do you optimize so that your stuff gets searched and found and all that kind of stuff. And I do that very quickly because I do, I sort of grew up as an advertising copywriter. It's part of the job. And you're always like worried that I'm doing too much. And I'm like, that actually just takes me like 10 minutes to do. That doesn't take, to me, it's like watching you edit something. I'm like, how did you do that so fast? Like, even when I see your personal Instagram, I'm like, man, her videos are so cool. They're like super fun. You're always telling me like, you could totally do this. Like you have all the stuff. You just need to do it. I'm like, I'm too scared to even try because I'm like, it's going to take long. I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to like throw my phone because it's not going to edit the way I want it to. I'm going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
So I think it'd be interesting to back it up a bit. So that we can talk about the friction points that we came across like recently. I would back it up a bit, something that you said to me on the phone the other day when we chatted. It was like, you reminded me why we're doing this. And it was really good for me because I had forgotten. So do you want to say why we're doing it?
Yeah. So, being in the US and, when your heart is in one place, but you're physically having to be in another place, it can be emotionally challenging. And I and I've expressed this before, I really hate my job. I don't like doing what I do for a living. If I could do 10 other things, I would before I do what I do. Not because it's bad work or it's there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my passion. Like, I'm very good at something that I'm not passionate about. And I think existing in life without having passion is very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially
100%.
for women, right? Like, as we get menopausal, it starts to, you're also struggling with, like, is it me or is it the thing? Like, is it just my hormones or like leaving me feeling like, struggling for what my purpose is or finding belonging and all that stuff? Like, I jokingly been calling it old lady puberty because it is very much like that.
That's exactly what menopause is.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
There was, I don't remember who it was, but there was I think it was an actor or a writer that I saw on on like a talk show, like Conan O'Brien or something in America, like many years ago. She was this is like well over a decade ago. She was talking about how excited she was to finally be in menopause. And it was like, she might have been one of the first people I ever heard talking about menopause so actively. And she said, like, it's like becoming a teenager again. Your hormones stop. You get like control of your body in a different way. You don't have to worry about your, a monthly cycle. You don't have all this other stuff going on.
Can I interrupt you and talk about your dog?
Yeah. He's making noise in the background.
Coley back.
Coley, what are you doing, love?
Dude.
This woman was talking about like how she feels like she's back to being a teenager, right? And I remembered that, and that's always kind of stuck in the back of my head. So everyone knows that they're going to go through this hormonal shift, right? It's going to happen. There's no stopping it. And having a positive framing for it, I think, is really important. And so that was the first time I heard that. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm going to try and keep that in the back of my head. Mm-hmm. But then you get to it. And all the positive framings go right out the window because you're like, and you know me, like, I try really hard to find the positive spin on something.
But we haven't got to the other side yet.
No, we're nowhere. I mean, God, I'm not near the other side. I think I'm getting closer, God willing. But the moments that I was really struggling, and like before I got on HRT and then after I got on HRT and I was still struggling, like it was really creating a lot of emotional upheaval for me. And I was quite depressed. I was not myself. I was back in America. I was in Jersey City, which is like the city I grew up in, and I hate being there, and I really don't want to be there. And I was there for reasons that I don't want to be there for, that I don't have a lot of control over. And it was costing me a lot emotionally, financially, mentally. And I had to stick into a position and job that I really didn't want to have or take. But here I am, right? So I was quite depressed. And you and I have been talking about doing a podcast for
forever,
a couple of years, like easily. How many podcast names did we come up with along the way? I mean, like there were so many. Like every night, as you do with your friends, you're like talking, and somebody says something like, "That would be a great name for a book," or "That would be a great name for a band or a podcast." We were constantly coming up with like podcast names, and I'm like, I kept saying like, I think we should just do it. We should just try one. We should just record an episode, see how it goes. And I was really in a dark place, and this is why I love my friend, because you saw that and you were like, what can I do to let you feel like you have purpose, right? Like, and I was like, the quickest thing we could do is maybe just start recording something, start working on something together. And Cntiosity was born out of that like very dark, depressed place that I was in. And I don't like it when Cntiosity starts to turn into work.
Yeah.
Because I know why I'm doing this. It's to not let that sort of negative, dark vibe creep back into my head.
Yeah.
And work already does that for me. So if this becomes work, then this will also do that for me. And that like that feeling of like, oh, there's a dark cloud coming, or like having any kind of anxiety in my body, like when I have to log in for work, I'm like, it's not I don't log in with like
that feeling.
yeah, right, like you don't log in with gusto, like yes, I'm going to work. I'm like, oh,
it's like if you can imagine the heels dragging along the pavement, like get there any slower. The dread, the utter dread of Sunday night to Monday morning, the utter sinking, awful, soul-destroying dread. Yes, I remember it very well.
Which I live inside of now anyway, right? I'm still in that.
Yeah, I know.
And so when this starts to feel anything close to that, I get very like, I'm out, I can't do it, do it, because I can't have two things that are provoking that kind of like stress, and it just even talking reaction. About it right now, my stomach's starting to
like prickly sweat.
It's a
visceral physical reaction.
Yeah, and like you have a clear sense memory for it, and your body knows it, right? So we had a conversation. We went to the London Podcast Festival to listen to a talk on sort of optimizing your digital footprint.
Yeah, it was called More Than Words, wasn't it? And talking about how like there's so much more to the podcast than the podcast. It's like
a level up from designing the brand to like pushing the brand out and how the brand should come across, and like what things you need to be doing and making sure are linked back, and like what kind of content the algorithm's going to track to, like stuff like that, right? And it was great. It was a great talk. And then we after the talk, we walked around a bit and we stood outside. It was the same Pancras station, right? And it was like kind of raining, but not really. It was busy. Lots of people walking around. And we ended up standing there talking for an hour. And
was it an hour that we were? It
was maybe it was a little, just slightly longer. And I was feeling the life drain out of me as we were having that conversation. Yeah. And I don't think you.
I was not cognitive.
You didn't. Yeah, aware. There was a dissonance there, because when I am in that state, because I'm trained, I just carry on with the conversation as if nothing's wrong. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like trained to do that. That's, I've got clients who tell me they hate something I did all day, and I have to smile and just carry on with the conversation, right? Mm-hmm. So when I came home, I was utterly exhausted, and I was just like, I can't think about this podcast. I can't think about anything anymore. And I had been feeling quite vibrant after that, listening to that woman's
it was a good talk. The mistake we made was, I feel we should have stayed in the building to do a debrief, because it's a nice building.
Right.
Where was it? Where were we?
King's Place, yeah. King's Place.
Really nice building. We should just have hung out there. We were like,
it was
maybe
cool
we
building.
Can find some
The
shoes.
Guardian is in that building.
Yeah. Really nice building. We were like, maybe we can find some shoes before the shops close. And then we just found ourselves on a corner, and I've like got this weird thing like, no, we can't go. We're here now. We can't. Didn't think we were going to have such a long conversation. Had no idea how long we were actually talking, and had no idea that I was like, if you were a balloon, that I had just stuck some kind of pin in it, and that you were on slow release deflate.
Yeah, my energy was leaking out.
I had no idea.
It was very. We were having two very different experiences of the same conversation. And it wasn't a bad. It was when I talked to you the next day, it was like nothing. It was not anything that was said. It wasn't anything about the content of the conversation. It was the spirit of the feeling. I can't explain it. It was the moment. All of it sort of like. It was exactly that. It was deflating my energy, and and that's why I said to you the next day, I was like, because I don't know that I'm completely out of the headspace I was in when we decided to do this podcast, right? I'm not feeling as negative or depressed, but I'm still feeling very much drained, and
their
sirens are going by in London. I can't escape sirens. If you listen to this regularly, you know that there are always sirens in my background. So that's just a metaphor for my brain. It's
emergency.
Press the red button for help.
Yeah, so like I think that it was a conversation that I thought we were just hashing stuff out, and like it was an opportunity to be in the same time zone, in the same physical space, to talk about some of the things that are maybe harder to do when we were in separate time zones and separate places. So I was just like blah 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 blah, and like feeling quite energized after the talk that we'd watched. But my blah 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 was being taken in, and it was being it came across as you're doing something wrong. Everything you're doing is wrong. I didn't realize this, and I'm so glad that that's where, like, if you're going to go into business, it's not a business, but if you're going to go do a project with friends, you've got to be able to communicate the shit out of stuff. And like, we've already established I'm not a good communicator. So it was good that you called me up on it, and it enabled us to both have a talk about how, like, work shows up for us in different ways.
Right.
And I was banging on about the SEO side of things, because suddenly I was like, but the numbers. And you very, like, quickly reminded me that we're not here about the numbers.
Yeah.
As soon as it stops being fun, it stops being.
Right. Yeah. And I, like, my mind of doing this together is, it's as like, look, I don't have kids. I've got, like, my kids' books and little things I've done here or there that will leave some kind of a footprint that I was here. Yeah. That I did this life, that I existed. And this is a way to do that for me. Of that, yeah. Right? This is part of that. And this is like, I think it's a nice, that's why I always joke around. Like, I don't care. Even if we only have 2 listeners, I'm fine, because I like having this, like, little digital track record of our friendship and of this time in our lives and
our feelings, and it's like a living notebook.
It is exactly a living notebook, but, like, shared with a friend, which is even cooler. Yeah. And so I don't get as fixated on the numbers, because I'm a firm believer in, like, if you create something meaningful and right and correct, the right people will show up. They'll find it. The universe will bring them into your purview, you into theirs. Things will start to have momentum and move. And it's, if you do it with love and you do it with pleasure and you do it with, like, right action with right intent, that, like, very Buddhist, it's a very Buddhist way of being about it, even though I'm not a Buddhist. It's too hard. I'll never be a good Buddhist, but it's the idea of, like, right action with right intent. And to me, when I start thinking about the numbers, that's not the right intent, and that I get very overwhelmed and I get very, like, lost in that. And that's what I do for a living, by the way. So I'm already, like, but I'm not as connected to it in the world of what I do it for a living, because I don't care. It's not my brand.
It's not your personal.
It's not my. Somebody's paying me to figure that out for them. Okay, I can get caught up in that for you if you're paying me to do that. So. But
also, rightly said, I hadn't, like, I hand over this document. And I'm like, we need all of this information, and I give you no why. And you're like, surely we don't need all of this information. And then I'll do really annoying things like, if it's not there, or if it's not in a place that I can find it, I'll populate it with your best friend, ChatGPT. A writer's nightmare.
She knows how much I hate ChatGPT. It's useful in its utility that it serves, and I do use it, but
But you're a writer, and you're writing words for this, which is our passion project, and so then for me to go and, like, just replace it. I don't ever replace it, but I add to it with ChatGPT.
And I get the instinct to do it. I think it was good I think it was, like, a good learning moment and a good, like, recovery that we had, because it literally lasted the course of a night into a morning, right? Like, we had the chat, we both went home, we had another chat the next morning, and the next morning it was like, you were trying to reconnect with me, and I was like, I need a minute.
I didn't know there was a problem until you needed a minute. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And I know, and, like, you also don't know if that's because some nonsense happened at work and I, like, ended up being up all night work. No,
I had to get specific, and I asked you direct questions and you gave me direct answers.
And I do, like, if I'm having feelings about something, I know myself well enough, and I've done the work in my life to understand that I can get very reactionary. And I, we started by you saying we're both sensitive people, and my sensitive comes out as feeling scorned and jilted and made invisible, and, like, all this stuff that I know you don't intend ever. And but it comes out that way because that's my modus operandus, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how my emotional state gets. So rather than allowing that emotional state to vomit into the world, I'd like to take.
I was going to say to win, but
I like to take a second and settle myself down and figure out what it is I actually want to communicate, and communicate it, like remember that I'm in a place of love, remember that I'm communicating from softness and from this person loves you, you love this person, you're not. And I do this with strangers too, right? Like even if like somebody's coming at me, I try and stay in a place of love, because if I go the other way, man, it gets dark real fast, and nobody wants to meet that girl. She's like my jungly spirit, my little animal monster that lives in my
protector.
So I don't like to let her loose, but and certainly not with my dearest friend, for crying out loud. So I was like, I just need to get my head there, and then we have the conversation. I know I can move energy through this conversation in the right way, and we'll end up in a really good place. And I thought by the end of that follow-up conversation, like I was delighted. I was like, 100%. I think we had such a good back and forth. Like we gave each other the space, and I think that's where the friendship comes in, right? There's this like there's this loving spirit. Like you're always very aware of like not trotting on people, and not especially if you get the sense that like, oh, this person had that impression that I was doing that. You're very good at like not at all what I was trying to do, not at all what I was intending to do, because I think sometimes your excitement gets away with, right, and then you just start going, well, this is normal, that's like a normal thing to do. And I think it's part of like our different like ways of the ways our brains work, right? Like my brain is oddly, it's very chaotic, but it's very organized chaos. And I think we've talked about this before. I'm 100% sure I've got undiagnosed like ADD or something.
And I do have diagnosed ADHD.
Right. So
combined type.
I was once in a restorative yoga class, and you're in a yoga pose where you're like, you get the blocks under you, because the restorative pose is you hold them for a little while, because you're supposed to let the body work, right? To open up and do all that.
Yeah, baby.
There's a white woman with an Indian name running the class, so I was already in my feelings about that. But I'm in this pose, and I'm laying there, and she comes over, like she's like in a squat, but like running towards me, kind of, and she's like, "Close your eyes," and I was just like, yeah, I'll close my eyes," but they were closed. She's like, "You're way too busy. You're way too busy," and I was literally lying as still as possible. So I think she saw the hyperactivity that was going on in my brain, because she said like the energy coming out of like my energy was all over the place, even though I was as still, because I'm also like, I think it's part of my like weirdness of being in like, stranger danger spaces where you're doing public exercise with other people. I don't want to be disruptive in any way, so I get very
aware.
I follow the rules.
Yeah.
I get very aware. So I was like, even though it was an uncomfortable pose and I was holding it for way too long, I did not move. I was like, do not budge. Do not move. Do not be disruptive. But
while you're lying there as still as possible and thinking, do not be disruptive, you're also like wildly aware of everyone else's position in the room, and that I'm saying this, I'm assuming I'm correct.
You are.
The pulse of everyone, the breath of everyone, slightest movement, like you. And that is what came up in that podcast that you sent me the other day. What was it called? 500 Open Tabs or something like that? Oh my God,
it's a genius name of a podcast.
Oh my God, I've listened to so many of them like since just yesterday. It's wild. And one of them is, she talks all about, one of her Open Tabs was about how ADHD in like prehistoric times, what is this? Like if you're going back, it would be our survival
instinct.
instinct.
Yeah. Very much so.
Was called night watch. It's like it's a word for it, night watchmen or something like that.
Yeah, it's so I've been thinking about this, and I had this conversation with another friend recently, and I've been actually dying to talk about it with you, but I haven't. We have so much to talk about, and never get to everything. But like, I have a theory that I have an idea. I don't. Somebody else more smarter than me, someone with an actual degree, maybe a neuroscientist out there, probably has a validated theory for this, or is working on it. But to me, when I think about like the rates of autism and the rates of OCD and ADD and all these things, right? Like they're all kind of trending up, right? Like human beings have very large brains. And we know, like, Einstein's only using a very small percentage of his brain. Like, we've always heard that. Like, oh, he's only using X% of his brain. It was nothing. It was nominal. So I think, like, if we go back to our sim overlord theory from last episode.
After all, we're in a simulation.
We're in a goddamn simulation. If, like, in the design of the human body, right, like, the evolution, let's say Darwin and evolution and all that stuff, Darwin is right, and the next evolution you'd see some iteration of a new type of human, right? We've seen Homo sapien evolve from Australopithecus and all the other sort of versions and primate and all this stuff, right? What if, like, the next evolution is that we start firing off and using more of that large brain capacity, and we're in the moment right now where it's kind of working itself out into our evolutionary process, and so eventually we'll have like a more evolved thinker. And the thing that I find interesting about the autism in particular is, and anyone with like any kind of neurospiciness, they tend to have a very strong moral core and like a moral understanding of the way the world should be, what's right, what's wrong. Like, and it's usually from a very innocent place. It's usually from a very loving, like, that's bad. Like, that person's being harmed. That harm is bad. Violence is bad. Like, it's like very cut and dry.
Do you think it's cut and dry? I think that for my moral compass sees, I think, sometimes too much nuance.
Huh. That's interesting. So maybe there's nuance in that sort of like, this is wrong and this is right, and here's, like, why things are, but like basic things, like you shouldn't hurt people, right? Like that kind of an idea.
100%.
I don't think that doesn't mean you shouldn't hurt bad people. So I'm not saying it's like all violence is wrong violence at all. So I'm not saying it's like that cut and dry, but there's like a very clear line that I think people who are neurospicy tend to follow. And so they get more in their feelings when they see an offense occurring. Or they have a desire to defend the undefendable, like the victim in certain situations, but their neurospiciness would stop them from doing it, and so then they struggle with that, and then that like turns into all other feelings, right? I think that is the human species, Homo sapien 1.0, evolving into a Homo sapien 2.0 that's going to be of a different mind. That's just that's how I like to. I don't know. It just.
So that being said, like, because the 500 open tabs and the Night Watchman, I think, was saying that it's something that we've carried from a time before into present time. So there's like 10% of the population, let's say, that have ADHD, and they've carried that from a time when it was needed, and it doesn't align. Not to say it's not needed, but it doesn't align as neatly with this hyper-industrial, hyper-technical age that we find ourselves in. But what you're saying is, it's for, if I'm not incorrect, it's for a future?
Even if it was something that was part of our...
It's something worth holding on to.
The brain size has been the same, right? Yeah. So even if it was like, okay, hunter-gatherer civilization... You need this night watchman kind of brain to stay alive.
Those
right?
are senses I want.
That's still part of the same brain makeup, like the same physical brain. The brain side hasn't changed, right? Those neurons got quieter as we got more agrarian, and they, you know, like they shifted, right? And so then you just had a few people with it, right? But now, like, we're back in that survival mode. It's just we're surviving technology. We're surviving different things. We're surviving, you know, different economic states. Like, these things require different tools, right? Like, if you are struggling financially, you're probably hustling more. You probably have five jobs that you have to do. You've got 500 open tabs in your brain.
Yeah.
Like, literally. So you're, oh, we have to credit these folks because we keep using their line now. But like,
it's so that. Have you listened to any full episodes of them? Or have you just
not
made me
a full
addict?
episode. I haven't yet.
You've just given me the addiction.
I've just given you the addiction. Sorry. I'm great that way. You know, I like to pass things along and not hold on to them. Let me introduce you to this sweet treat that I have tried one time, and now you're addicted to it. This is how I roll. But I think again, this is all just theorized stuff in Reshma's head kind of thing. I think some future civilization is going to look back and be like, this was a moment that, like, the human species was evolving, and it was all happening in the brain because it's the only organ left that's big enough to sort of still continue to expand. We're not using all of it. I do think that it would be easier to evolve the capacity of the human brain, right, if nature is working in that way, than to evolve the actual physical body of the human being. Right, like it just makes sense to me. It all makes sense in my head. It might not make you people listening. We're gonna get all. If anyone listens to this,
I've glazed over.
Certainly,
you've lost me.
Yeah. So like, this is what I do. This is what happens in my brain. This is why there's something wrong with me. No, there's something very right with me.
No.
So I have thought about this a lot, and I'm not articulating it well. Maybe I'll write about it, but I do think that there's something there. So I'm excited to see, like, where that goes, and the more, you know, this idea, like, there's no normal. Like, we got quiet as a society, and I think that's why they want to turn us into the 1950s again in America, because society got quieter, because everyone was, like, under a haze, and people were also very medicated.
Well, now we're medicated with social media, and
it's a different kind of thing.
Kind of medicine. It's equally addictive, though.
Right. So I do wonder, like, where this is all going for the human brain and for the human species at large. Because I think the most exciting thing will be, like, an evolution of humankind.
Okay. I don't disagree. I'm going to bring us back.
You say that like I've taken us away somewhere.
No, I don't know. No, you haven't taken us anywhere. I'm like...
It's the curiosity side of Cntiosity, baby.
Cntiosity. No. And it's all wonderful. I'm just wondering if you have, like, other things to say about, like, the making of and the behind the scenes and the way that we want this podcast to work. Or
like, is the lighting good?
No.
No, I'm teasing. I'm kidding. I think, yeah, like, planning episodes is you know, that's also a struggle, because I'm very, like, walk in the room and figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
And you're a little bit more planned than I am. And so I think that becomes a little bit of a tension point sometimes.
Yeah, that's a tension
like,
point.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about this? Because we had mentioned were we talking about? And then I'll take us
wherever you take us. No, which is lovely. I do make sometimes notes. Sometimes you do too.
I do always. I pretty much always make notes. I just don't always bring them with me.
And so I'm just like...
What notes do you have?
I'm just checking.
You're looking at notes. I'm watching you looking at notes. I can see you doing it because we're in the same place. It's so exciting.
Yeah, no, I think because I was nervous about this one, because it is... I don't know. It's our baby, and it means a lot to us, and it's our friendship, and... we're talking about times that we didn't feel good in it, and that's vulnerable. Am I right? And so I was nervous about it. And so like, yes, maybe I made more notes. And then also I was like, well, I don't know how meta we're going. I don't know how, like, are we going to talk about like how we want to, workflow, like, or is that on the podcast or is that not on the podcast? Like workflow moving forward, do we need to talk about that? And we do, but do we need to talk about it on the podcast or is that outside of the podcast?
I think like, yeah, workflows is important. The details and the grittiness of it, like all the grittiness, all the little details of the workflow of the workflow. We can probably figure out like on paper, off mic, right? But the idea of like workflow and like who does what, like when we don't have a producer yet. We will one day. I think that's where you and I do jive really well, is we'll come to a solution very quickly, which is very nice. I don't have to like, there's no like ego tripping of like, no, use my idea. No, use my, like, which I encounter at work all the time.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. So I think that's nice, is like, there's no like ownership of the idea. It's all about like maximizing what we're doing, which is really cool.
I think my headspace gets worried because I'm like, oh, there's the things that are not done yet. Like I haven't finished all of the socials yet for the last episode, and I will do this weekend, and we'll upload that episode
before this one.
Yeah, so that's all,
and it'll all happen.
And you're like, it'll all happen. I'm thinking of a specific moment, going back to the conversation outside King's Cross, St Pancras, where I was like, this episode isn't going out this week. As if it's like matter of fact, and without explaining any of the reasoning and without having a conversation. And that was a sticking point. I was like,
yeah,
it was a sticking point.
Well, it was that I had to kind of do the work on my own to explain why.
Yeah.
Because I knew, once I heard you say it, I was like, that's a big decision. But in the moment because I was trying to get the conversation to end, I was like, no, of course it's not going out. We're not ready. But then I had to do the work to go, there's no way that episode's going out, because there's this has to be done to it. This has to be done. The files have to be edited. They have to be organized into one video. Like I know the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, of course it's not ready to go out. There's no way it's ready to go out. We're doing something different. We usually record on our iPads and use a third party tool that like lets us get everything into one place. We're doing it differently. We're using cameras. We're using different better equipment. Things are going to look nicer, but it's going to take more work to produce. So
yeah, it's just a different workflow.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like you said it matter of factly, and what you could have just said, there's way too many steps to take.
Yeah.
So there's no way I can get this out, which would have been perfectly fine as well.
I always knew that there'd be lots of learning in this process of doing a podcast, but I really thought that all of that learning would be, and it is, in the technicalities of doing a podcast. And it is, absolutely, but it's also learning between us, learning how our interpersonal stuff works here in this space, and how to keep it flowing and with love. And on that note,
how to not be cunty with each other, but to stay curious about how we do things.
Yeah, baby. Nicely done.
Should we see what the 36 questions has for us this week?
Let's do that.
Let's see. Maybe it'll guide us a little bit further. And I love these because it is, right? All we're doing is about like having love for your friends and the people that you care about in your life. And at this point, like, we've been friends long enough where I'm like, this is going to the end. So,
but it's always amazing how much, there's still to find out about a person.
Yeah, right?
I deeply believe that. Would you like to shuffle and pick?
No, you go for it.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Or I can pass them to you and you can pick one out?
I can pick one out? Okay. I feel like my pick last time was...
Okay. Do you want me to just pick?
I'm a bad picker. I guess so. We can... it's
pick
random.
This one.
Okay, go ahead. Do it.
It stayed in my hand. No, we've had that one. Number 3. I've really got to like the ones we've had out.
So we've been doing this 36 questions thing with based on Dr. Arthur Aaron's publication around ways to sort of grow and build love, and New York Times condensed it into an article about there's 36 questions you can ask, right? I like encourage people to look up stuff like this, because it's really...
We'll link to it in the show notes.
Tia's into this stuff. I'm not as into this stuff, and she introduces me to something, and I'm like, that's cute. They had one also about, like, around Mother's Day for, like, mothers and daughters to, like, get to know each other better. So I think, like, so these kinds of little tools are great, but, like, it's been a really nice way for us to close out every episode, because it sort of punctuates the episode, but it also fosters deeper understanding of each other, and sometimes it gives us ideas for future episodes, which is nice too.
True story.
So you got one?
I've got one.
What we got?
We got number 29. Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life.
Oh my God. I've got so many embarrassing moments.
Like, which one? How much do I want to expose on a microphone?
Oh man. I have so many good ones too. I hate it because it's like when you get asked that, like nothing comes to mind. But I have so many good ones. Oh man. Oh, you know what? I'll do one. I want it to be something really funny, because I know, like, I'm like that person that's like, I fall down all the time. I do all kinds of goofy things, and I'm like, I say dumb shit all the time, and it's funny. But I can't think of an example right now. Do you
want me to go?
Yeah, you go first if you've got one.
I've got like several. Pick a number. I've got several. Pick a number.
Give me one.
Okay, one that strangely happened years and years ago, but it's still actually, when I think of it, gives me the quease. Like I feel like, is I was standing in there was a group of us, me and my partner at the time and some friends, and we were all just like standing around. I think probably at a drinking type of establishment, so alcohol was probably involved. And I go to the toilet, and then I come back into the same part of the circle of friends that I thought I was in before. And I start to slowly massage my partner's bottom, which is something I never do. It's like, really, I hate public displays of bum touching, or really any kind of...
So not you. I'm
so
like,
not
who is
me.
this person?
This is like, it is the 90s, late 90s. Anyway, so massaging this person's bottom, and they turn around and say to me, "That's very nice, but you know I'm not I don't think I'm who you think I am." And it wasn't, it was their mate.
Oh my God.
That still really gives me the creeps. A, because I really hate public bum touching or bum holding.
Oh my God.
Like, couples who walk around clenching onto each other's buttocks. I just think it's just like, ugh. It gives me the knee. And B, that I did that and it wasn't even the right person. It's just like, it still embarrasses me.
What did your partner at the time, what did they?
He just laughed.
It was just like, that's just Tia being Tia. Oh my God. I have like an embarrassing, it was embarrassing for me. I'm the person who did it. I've got a bum grabbing one. So this is like also in the noughties. I love that you guys call it the noughties here, the 90s. I was walking down the street.
The 90s or the noughties?
Wait, the noughties. Wait, no, they're different.
Yeah, the 90s are the 90s.
The 90s.
And the noughties are the noughties.
So that was embarrassing. I just did that right now. Because it's the aughts. Duh. So stupid. Reshma.
Oh, is that what you guys call it? The aughts?
The aughts, yeah, the 2000s.
Not the noughties?
No.
Oh.
You know, you guys are cute with all your little
super
wonkies
cute,
and your oddies and your walkies and like, you guys are very cute here. We're not that cute. It's like the dog's going for a walk. They're not going, you want to go walkies?
Walkies.
There's no walkies. You going poopies? No.
You're not taking a heli to the hammies.
No, exactly. Why are you guys so cute here? No, but I've got a bum grabbing one. That's embarrassing for both people, but also horrifying. One of my best mates, a guy friend, so back in the 90s, I was living in Williamsburg, where I was walking down Bedford Ave, clueless, with my headphones on, listening to something, just walking along. I think I had shorts on. It was just a hot summer day. And this friend came, and you know how Bedford Ave is a little bit of a downhill slope? So he came running up behind me and was attempting to run past me, slap my ass, and carry on running.
Ooh.
But I think got a little carried away by their momentum.
What did they grab?
It went to slap my ass and kind of ended up grabbing me.
The front?
Because they couldn't, like, stop themselves. And their angle was off. And I was like, like, what is, I'm being assaulted. I'm just walking,
That is such a stupid thing for a guy to do, though.
You know who it was.
Who?
Jamie.
Of course.
This is something he would do. And he was horrified. And we're both just looking at each other like, like horrified. Because this is like my brother.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, how could you do that to me? He's like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to be, I was just like, all your proportions were off. Like, your speed was off. Everything was off.
Oh my God.
Like, what is wrong with you?
That's delightful.
Yeah, we had a good laugh about it. So it was embarrassing for both of us, but super horrifying also. It was one of these, like, cringe all over the place moments.
Isn't it? I find it really interesting, like, what I edited. Like, I edited. They've got way more embarrassing moments than the one I chose, and that were more recent, and I edited because, like, with the mics on.
I only remembered this one because you said because of yours. If you hadn't said yours, I wouldn't even have remembered this one. But the minute you said it, I was like,
I was just like going through my little Rolodex.
Yeah, I was like, I must have some embarrassing, butt grab moments, and that's like that one comes right to mind because it was so hard.
The one I don't want to talk about and I won't talk about is the menstrual cup. I've got several with the menstrual cups.
See, we should have left it on the butt grab. Accidentally grabbing someone else's ass is fucking brilliant.
It is.
I love that.
So and so we'll leave it there.
Someone accidentally grabbing my crotch, thinking they were smacking my ass, is equally brilliant. Like, just ridiculous. Completely.
So they went for the fanny, and they got the fanny.
They got the fanny. Yes. Our fanny is not your fanny. It's different. It's different.
Our fanny is never their fanny.
No.
Our fanny is always our fanny.
Our fanny. But it's, the U.S. version of fanny is...
The fanny in the U.S. is what, the butt?
The butt, the fanny pack, the butt.
Yeah.
The British version of the fanny is the vajuju.
The vajuju.
Which is not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
And your fanny is never anybody else's fanny.
Well, neither is my behind, excuse me.
Neither fanny is.
Part of my...
Protect all fannies.
So on the moon cup, and then we'll just leave it. The only one that I will share is the first time I used it, I was working at Fox International Channels, I believe, and I had got it in, no problem. It was working, everything was fine, no problem. And then I was like, well, how do you get it out?
Did you have to call the support number?
I did. I called the support number.
I know a lot of women who've had to call that support number.
So I'm in a cubicle, and
like, embarrassingly.
At work. But, like, what's weird is, like, I wasn't leaking. So I'm like, why? I think I just wanted to know that I could get it out. Like, I could just have gone home and waited for that moment. But instead, I'm, like, in a cubicle.
Because you got in your head about it. It's got to do it now. No.
Yeah. And then you can't get it out. And then you start to panic.
Tense up. And then you really can't get it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the moon cup. And I don't know if they still have that support number or not.
I think they do.
Like, but she was very patient.
I think they send you a video or something now. Like, they send you somebody else's. You don't know how many videos I had to watch when I started using mine. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And the first time I put it in, I thought I had it all the way in, and then I left to go to a meeting, and on my way, I felt it slipping out, and I was like, this thing is, and I made it to the meeting. I'm sitting there, and I know this thing is halfway in and halfway out, and I'm just like, I have to get out of this room. I have to get out of this room. Just try to pay attention, but I really have
You
to
did
get
the
out of
face that
this
you gave
room.
me at
Yeah,
King's Cross.
I was like,
checked out.
totally checked out. Somehow, I got out of the room. I was like, oh my God. And then I couldn't get it out. It was in the same thing, cubicle in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done to myself?
Do you know what she advised me in the end?
What?
She said, do you drink? And at the time I did.
Go have a
And
drink.
she was like, yeah, go home, have a couple of glasses of wine.
And relax.
And relax. And it worked.
Yeah.
Which meant for a long time, I would excuse myself of having like the glasses of wine. It was like, I've got to go and get my moon cup out. I need the wine.
Oh my God. Any excuse for a glass of wine. I ended up opening up the PDF. There was like there was a PDF online of like how to insert and remove this thing, and I was like,
But I know how to insert and remove it. But when it
I
doesn't
know,
want to
but
come out,
sometimes I just need the cue to like calm myself down. Like reading calms me down. So I was
I've
like,
had to have other people go in there and get it out for me.
oh dear.
Oh dear. Okay, and on that note,
I've never had to do that, thankfully, but
we might be
I had
changing.
to do that with a contact lens.
Do you think we should change? Not after they've got your moon cup out, I hope. Not with the same hand.
Not with the same
Oh my gosh,
hand.
you went too far. All right, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
I've been Tia.
Another wonderful episode. I've been Reshma.
And we are Cntiosity.
Follow us and listen to us. Spotify, Apple
Do those
Podcasts.
things.
If you're boycotting any platforms, find us on one that
Pocket
you're
Cast,
not
somewhere
boycotting.
else. Tell us where. Tell us where.
We're
Tell us
out
how.
there.
We are
We're out there.
Okay.
YouTube. See you on the internet.